Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
This is the Roger Stone Show, presented by Colonial Metals Group.
A man who's gone through hell, but he's kept going, and he's smart, and he's strong, and people love him. Not everybody, but people love him and respect him. Roger Stone.
Now, here's Roger Stone.
And we're back. Joining me now is Joe Concha, Fox News contributor and author of the book, The Greatest Comeback Ever, Inside Trump's Big, Beautiful Campaign. Joe Concha and I have had the privilege of both appearing on Larry Kudlow's show at 77 WABC and many of the other Red Apple Audio Network stations. I've always found his political analysis to be incisive and on the money, and I'm privileged to have him join the show today. Joe, welcome to the Roger Stone Show.
Roger, the pleasure's all.
So, Joe, Donald Trump has been president for 27 days. Are you tired of winning yet?
It is. I mean, to your point, we're under 4%. We're already talking about Russia, Ukraine. We're talking about this investment of 50% in Ukraine as far as raw minerals and paying back what we've given the Ukrainian government during that perpetual. Not just from Gaza. Impact is something like we've never seen before, and obviously all the executive orders, things like that by biological men, all.
Joe, we're having an audio problem. We're going to have you reconnect with us. So why don't we drop the call and come back in? Joe Concha's upcoming book, Trump's Big Beautiful Campaign, which you can find on Amazon.com, chronicles how Donald Trump swept to a massive victory in 2024. Every conservative wants to know, how did the liberals miss this? In his upcoming book, The Greatest Comeback Ever, Joe Concha revisits the most tone-deaf, unhinged anti-Trump predictions from the 2024 race. Liberals attacked Trump in every way they could, from lawfare to libel, but each attack seemed only to make him stronger. Why? Well, Joe thinks it's because they had no idea what the American people actually wanted, which was major change from the disastrous 4 years. Joe Concha rejoins us now. Joe, you with us?
Yes, I am. Sorry about the signal. I hope I sound better now, Roger.
Much, much better. So, how did the left get the last election so wrong? Because immediately after Kamala Harris was designated in a completely undemocratic process in which the people who kept lecturing us about the danger to democracy nominated a candidate that not a single Democrat primary voter or caucus voter voted for, they then juiced the polls by oversampling Democrats. They flooded what I think will be proven to be illegal money through Act Blue into her campaign coffers. And they kept telling us that she was breathing down Donald Trump's neck in the 7 swing states, every single one of which Trump won, not just closely, but in most cases handily. How did they get this so wrong?
Roger, we remember that Ann Seltzer poll in Iowa, right? +3 in a state that Donald Trump carried easily double digits back in 2020, carried in 2016 as well. He was up by 18 points on Joe Biden in Iowa in June of 2024. And then suddenly Kamala Harris, this great candidate, is going to sweep it and turn that thing 21 points. It never made any sense. So, look, between that and the fact that Donald Trump was even in national polls, which really means, as you know, he's probably being underweighted by 4 or 5 points. Early voting, I thought that was the smartest thing that Trump did as far as urging his supporters to get out there, play the game, the Democrats, the hand they dealt, as far as get out there and flood the zone as soon as you can. Because if you want to vote for Donald Trump, do it as early as possible. When he was leading in so many swing states like Arizona, Nevada, Georgia in early voting, that told us that he was going to win this election, win it quite easily. I called it on Fox in October. I said he's going to win this easily, save the tape if I'm wrong. And sure enough, that's how it turned out. So, look, he was on the right side, Roger, as you know, of every major issue. If we're talking about economy, if we're talking about taxes, if we're talking about draining the swamp, if we're talking about crime, border, foreign wars, everything, if Kamala Harris didn't have an argument, and by the way, she had the ability to make an argument because she was a human Chernobyl when she spoke outside of a teleprompter. So, yeah, it was a pretty easy call to make, but yet so many pundits, I think they were hope casting. They were hoping she would win more than they knew that she would win based on the data.
You can also see that Trump was and is a happier warrior. He was having the time of his life, dancing to YMCA, joking with the press. I mean, this is a man who I think is energized by crowds, energized by people. He is an extrovert in an extrovert's business. And he had a plan for America, whether it was closing the borders or returning us to energy independence, or doing away with the epic inflation that is destroying the country. He had a constructive plan, whereas her closing message to me seemed to be, Trump is Hitler, and if you're voting for him, that means you're a Nazi. Not a very uplifting or inspiring message for a presidential campaign.
And you know it well, Roger. You've been doing it for many decades with many presidents, right? Ronald Reagan, a shining city on the hill. Are you better off than you were 4 years ago? George H.W. Bush, 1,000 points of light. Even Bill Clinton, the man from Hope, or Barack Obama, Hope and Change, or Donald Trump, Make America Great Again. You need a positive message, not that guy is a fascist. And the funny thing about the fascist thing is that now we're seeing during Trump 2.0 in his administration, when was the last time, Roger, you saw a fascist government actually try to shrink government, try to give power back to the people, try to weed out waste and corruption? Fascist governments normally don't operate like that. They want more government power. They want less power to the people. Trump is giving it back. So the whole fascist argument is quite funny. And I was at that Madison Square Garden rally in late October, and that was like the most, in terms of a gathering, the happiest people you will see in one place that I've seen since at least my spring break in Cancun back in the 90s. I mean, it was like, and all these Israeli flags and everything. And then I go home and I watch MSNBC and I say, oh, wait a minute. That was a Nazi rally? Boy, that's weird because there were so many Israeli flags there and people were so happy and it was a positive message. But overall, look at the Al Smith dinner, for example, right? As far as positive message, Donald Trump shows up. Kamala Harris sends a video. I mean, when we look back on this, we'll see one of the great campaigns of all time in Trump in terms of going to McDonald's and the garbage truck, and then Kamala Harris avoiding Joe Rogan, avoiding the Al Smith dinner, all those things. It's almost like if you're going to teach a class on how to win and lose elections, we just witnessed it in 2024.
And it is indeed the greatest comeback in history. Look, I worked for Richard Nixon, and his comeback was very great. He lost the 1960 election by a whisker. He lost the California governor's race by a landslide. But then a unique circumstance of the murder of John F. Kennedy, the murder of Robert Kennedy, the murder of Dr. Martin Luther King, and the divisions in the country over the Vietnam War parted the seas for a miraculous political comeback. But he wasn't fighting a tsunami of lawfare, at least not at that point, where they were seeking to keep him off the ballot, seeking to bankrupt him, seeking to lock him up for non-existent crimes. So Trump had to conduct a presidential campaign with that incredible backdrop. And I can tell you, speaking to him, there was not a single time I spoke to him, even in the darkest days of being dragged through New York courtroom, that he was downcast or dejected or depressed or not fully confident that he would win. Folks, we're going to be back with Joe Concha to talk about his great book and his analysis of 27 first days of the Trump administration. So please don't go away. We'll be right back.
This is the Roger Stone Show.
This episode is brought to you by GM Genuine Parts and AC Delco. Get the most out of your vehicle with GM Genuine Parts and AC Delco original equipment. The only parts designed, engineered, tested, and backed by General Motors. You can find your perfect fit for most makes and models and choose from 3 tiers of parts, including GM OE or gold and silver aftermarket parts. Visit gmparts.com for more information.
This episode is brought to you by Temptations Cat Treats. Your cat will come running for the perfectly irresistible Temptations Creamy Puree and Temptations Lickable Spoon Cat Treats. The best time to feed lickable cat treats to your cat is anytime. Feed by hand for a playful moment, in a bowl for a creamy treat, or as a topper to make mealtime fun. Visit TemptationsTreats.com to learn more.
Running a business comes with a lot of what-ifs. But luckily, there's a simple answer to them. Shopify. It's the commerce platform behind millions of businesses, including Thrive Cosmetics and Momofuku. And it'll help you with everything you need. From website design and marketing to boosting sales and expanding operations, Shopify can get the job done and make your dream a reality. Turn those what-ifs into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
This episode is brought to you by MeUndies. Underwear drawers are like the Wild West. You never know what you're going to pull out or what shape it's in. So upgrade your collection with the buttery soft comfort of MeUndies. MeUndies' signature fabric is as soft as a warm hug from your favorite sweater. Plus, it's breathable and oh so comfy, making it ideal for all-day wear. Get 20% off your first order, plus free shipping at MeUndies.com/Spotify with code Spotify. That's MeUndies.com/Spotify, code Spotify.
Richard Nixon, Ronald Reagan, George W. Bush, and Donald Trump.
They went after a guy named Roger Stone, who's sitting in the office. And I'll say this in front of Roger, he's no baby. And right now, he's cleaner than anybody in this place. No, they treated him very unfairly.
All of these presidents relied on one man to secure their seat in the Oval Office. That man is Roger Stone.
Roger Stone.
This is the Roger Stone Show, presented by Colonial Metals Group. Now, here's Roger Stone.
And we're back. I'm joined by Joe Concha, Fox News contributor and author of The Greatest Comeback Ever, Inside Trump's Big, Beautiful Campaign. You can order your copy on Amazon.com. Joe, 27 days into the Trump presidency, it's dizzying the pace that he is setting, whether it is outlawing men playing in girls' sports or doing away with the DEI policies that have devastated our military, whether it is cleaning house at the FBI and beginning to do so at the DOJ. I don't know when the man sleeps, to be honest with you. And you can tell he's enjoying every single minute of it. I saw him not this Saturday, I think the Saturday before, and he is just energized. I mean, he's a force of nature. He's a one-man monolith. How do you think it's going so far?
Well, I spoke to somebody close to him not too long ago, and I asked her, I said, well, does he at least drink coffee? Because it doesn't seem like he sleeps. I mean, we saw during the Super Bowl, for example, last week where he plays 18 holes with Tiger Woods, and when I play 18 holes and I want to take a nap. But no, he's then on Air Force One, and he flies down to the Super Bowl, and he's meeting with first responders and various players. Obviously, gets a huge ovation from the New Orleans crowd. Taylor Swift gets booed, which was quite ironic on 17 levels. And then he comes back after the game, and then he's talking to reporters. It's 11 o'clock at night. Or when the hostage comes home from Russia, there he is, 11 o'clock, greeting him and talking to the press, and he always never looks tired. It's quite remarkable. So when I asked that one close aide to the president, I said, does he drink coffee? She says, no, he does not drink coffee. Obviously, he doesn't drink alcohol. I don't know where it comes from exactly. At 78 years old, it's my birthday today. I'll share that, I guess, and I'm 54 years old today, and I'm about to go on Fox for 2 hours, and I'll probably sleep for about 10 hours afterwards. This guy does not sleep, and I think, Roger, in the end, and you know him better than anybody, he has an appreciation for where he is now. He went through everything he did since 2020 and that election, and then everything afterwards in terms of lawfare, 4 different lawsuits, various civil suits. They tried to assassinate him twice. They took him off ballots in certain states, and the media obviously constantly hostile while propping off whoever the Democrat was as far as Joe Biden or Kamala Harris. All those things, he overcomes all of it. And I think this greatest comeback ever that he's having, he's back in the White House. He appreciates the Lincoln bedroom. He appreciates the Resolute desk, all those things he had. Maybe he didn't appreciate as much his first term. He totally gets it now. And the more important thing, Roger, is that he has surrounded himself with the right people. And it looks like right now that all of his cabinet nominees, some deemed as controversial by the press, whether it be Tulsi Gabbard or RFK Jr. or my friend Pete Hegseth or obviously Kash Patel, they're all going to be confirmed. So he's going to go undefeated in that front. He's going to have the right team around him, unlike the first term where he had people around him that were constantly leaking to the press, constant infighting, couldn't get done what he wanted to get done, no clear path. He has a path now. He has a plan. And boy, as we're seeing on an hourly basis, he is executing on it like we've never seen from any president before.
Yeah, what you say is so true. First of all, you beat me to the punch. I was going to wish you a happy birthday today. It's amazing how much you've accomplished for a guy who's only 27 years old. It's really, it's really extraordinary.
Thank you. I feel 27.
You have a lot of energy yourself. You're absolutely right. I think in his first term, unfortunately, some around him thought their job was to delay and dilute and derail his program. Now he's got the Justice League around him. I mean, talk about an all-star cabinet, whether it's Tulsi Gabbard, who I have predicted on this show is going to be the first woman president, not necessarily in 2028, but she's only 43. She has plenty of time. She will be the first a woman president, in my opinion.
I agree.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who impresses me. I mean, we were acquaintances before he ran for president. I think we are friends today, but impresses me when I watch him in interview formats during his own presidential campaign and today. Never makes an assertion which he cannot back up with hard data or an authoritative study. And the attempts of Senate Democrats to discredit him, I think, were disgraceful. Yet he came through this process, going to be great in his efforts to make America healthy again. The appointments of Scott Besson, who's an outside-the-box thinker, a libertarian, somebody who has serious thoughts about not only reducing the national debt, but also addressing the affordable housing crisis in this country. A truly great appointment, in my opinion. Pete Hegseth, who you make reference to, a guy who's actually been on the front lines. I really like that idea. A Secretary of Defense who's actually been on the front lines and fought for his country. This is an all-star cast, and they are soon, I think as soon as next Thursday, going to be joined by one of the most important appointees of all, and that would be Kash Patel. Precisely the right guy to head the FBI. Here's Adam Schiff questioning whether Kash Patel has the qualifications to be the head of the FBI.
Well, let me just say, with respect to some of the nominees like Kash Patel, this is someone, in my view, who is not qualified to be FBI director, and someone who claimed, for example, that he wanted to shut down FBI headquarters early in his tenure and open a museum to the deep state. So this is a conspiracy theorist.
I mean, can you imagine Adam Schiff, of all people, the guy who told us that he had seen, quote, more than circumstantial evidence of Russian collusion with the Trump campaign, close quote, and produced none whatsoever, questioning the qualifications of Kash Patel. Unbelievable.
Adam Schiff, you're in a funeral parlor, Roger, no one would die. I'll put it that way, and we got to go because I hear the music saying we got to go. But it was great talking to you. Our first interview. I really appreciate it.
Joe Concha, his new book, The Greatest Comeback Ever, Inside Trump's Big, Beautiful Campaign. Order your copy today at Amazon.com. Joe, thank you, and God bless you.
You're the man, Roger. Thank you.